Hi there, I'm Rachel Gable, and this is your Fair Cattle Markets update for the 29th of June. I wanted to share some of Carrie Stadheim's coverage of last week's hearing in the Senate committee. Certainly, the Ag Committee had some heavy hitters. They're testifying. The two that I'm certainly hearing the most about were Justin Tupper, who is a rancher and a manager of South Dakota's St. Onge Livestock, and Mark Gardiner of Gardiner Angus Ranch in Ashland, Kansas, who is also the chairman of the board of the directors of U.S. Premium Beef, a beef marketing company that is the part owner in National Beef, which is 51% owned by Brazilian meat giant Marfrig. In his 5-minute opening statement, this is from Carrie's article that you can find at tsln.com. In his 5-minute opening statement, Tupper said the hearing was critical for the survival of the cattle industry. There is a crisis across rural America. We are losing producers at an alarming rate, all the while watching big corporate feeders, packers with making record profits and the threat of vertical integration hanging over our heads. Producers in my state and across the country are enduring devastating drought conditions. This is just one of the many challenges cattle producers face, all the while managing the land, borrowing money to keep operations going, fighting shifts in weather, and dealing with the rising input costs and a falling bottom line. Most ranchers who sell calves at weaning time are selling them for less than $1,000 per head. That's less than a 1% return on investment, an incredibly risky business. He went on to say that for those who raise and sell all the way to fat cattle, having to finish a finished animal is worth somewhere near $1,600 per head today. Packers could buy that steer, process it, and sell it for beef alone, not counting the byproducts, for $2,800 per head for a gross margin profit of over 80%. We as cattle producers understand and want the packer to make money. That makes the whole system work. But since 2015, corporate packers' gross margin has ballooned from an average of $100 to $200 per head to well over $1,000 a head. Packers have enjoyed unbelievable profits, harvesting around 120,000 head per day, while cattle producers go out of business and consumers pay double or even triple at the meat counter. Tupper said these are critical times. Gardiner's testimony followed Tupper's. Part of his testimony, he said, "Today we have too many cattle and too little processing capacity. We have a volatile marketplace created by outside unavoidable factors, not one market player. We have observed similar lumber disruptions in automobiles and other goods. Now, the solution to all of this is very complicated. Processors are adding processing capacity due to the demand for high-quality beef. Adding this capacity will take time." And he said the question in the meantime becomes, how much damage will the regulations do to the marketplace by artificially manipulating the pricing mechanisms? He went on to say, in other words, producers had to resolve our quality issues at the beginning of the supply chain. What caused the disconnect between our product and the consumer? Very simple. All cattle were purchased on the average. There were no incentives, one price fit all. Progressive producers needed and wanted to price cattle on a value-based system that paid for each animal based upon value, not average. Superior cattle have more value, inferior cattle have less value. Of course, Glenn Tonzer from K-State, Dr. Aharon, and Dr. Hendrickson all followed with their opening statements, and there were a number of questions. Several senators did indicate a need for legislative change that would provide more security to the food system, including product availability for consumers, as well as financial stability for producers. The article in its entirety can be found at tsln.com. We also have quite a bit of coverage of some other topics there, and which I'll be talking about this week. And then also at defensepost.com, talked a little bit about the ag labor bill that was signed last Friday by Colorado Governor Jared Polis, as well as pause Initiative 16 being shut down 7-0 by the Supreme Court in Colorado. So also there's an article in there about the House Ag Committee Chair, who is a small animal veterinarian. Her name is Karen McCormick, and she's from, I want to say Longmont, just left me. But she's a small animal veterinarian and a small business owner, so she had some interesting things to say. And certainly Governor Polis was at the CCA meeting last week, and he had some interesting things as well. So you can read all about it this week in TSLN and thefencepost.com. Thanks for tuning in. This is your Fair Cattle Markets update for the 29th of June.